had just returned back from my honeymoon. It was 2005. I was dispatching when I received an emergency call from Amtrak 532 at 5 p.m. Pacific time. Amtrak was requesting emergency personnel. First responder to the accident was Amtrak conductor, who found a man and a small child in the back seat. Result was loss of life and the anguish the engineer and conductor felt. Reason, they ran the gates to get away from police pursuit. Have you ever stopped and looked at the railroad tracks and thought about how dangerous they are? In 2014 alone, 184 trespassers died. Today, I'm going to persuade you on keeping your children and your family away from playing on the train tracks. Do not take pictures on the tracks, and do not stop on the crossings. Our first PowerPoint picture. It takes an average freight train 1 mile, or the length of 18 football fields, to stop. This is a picture of my son in front of the locomotive. You can notice the difference in size. A train is an emergency, which means they use considerably more braking force than a normal stop. A small child is running towards a train, waving at the engineer and the conductor. The engineer and the conductor are blowing their horn. The engineer has placed the train in emergency, which I've just given you the definition of. Today our children have been taught that trains are toys. They are enthralled with Thomas the Train and do not know the basic safety that needs to happen. The switches on the railroad tracks can be moved at any time without warning, resulting in taking off a limb, a foot, etc. when this happens. Playing on the railroad tracks is trespassing. It's also against the law. We, as family, have a responsibility to keep our children off of these train tracks. It does not matter if you think that you have never seen a train. Trains do not run on schedules. You can expect them at any time, in any place. Senior pictures every year signal a transition, a long journey ahead. What better way to take a picture of this than to show it sitting on the railroad tracks? Correct? Wrong. In 2014, 910 people died by trespassing on the train tracks. Those photographers are putting your children in danger, resulting in a loss of life. They have not gotten the rights to be trespassing on the train tracks. Fitness star Greg Plitt is killed in Burbank, California, while filming a video shoot. He does not have Metrolink's approval. Therefore, the trains have not stopped. I'm sure you've all heard about the Batman shoot that a Wisconsin mother thought would be a cute Valentine's Day present for her and her family. She has posted videos and website of her and her husband in a Batman outfit. She is tied to the train tracks with her 4-year-old toddler sitting there. She's very uneducated about the railroad. The ball of the rail, or the top of the rail, is shiny, signaling a very active railroad track. She had no idea that this was against the law. She had no idea that she was potentially putting her entire family in danger. A teacher of art and photography is killed in 2012, which launches an Operation Lifesaver campaign. Operation Lifesaver, www.oli.org, has targeted safety for people who need questions, have no idea. This is a picture on one of our road trips of an actual van being struck by a train. As you can tell, the passenger side and driver's side are completely gone. This is what a crossing gate looks like. These crossing gates come down for a reason. Imagine sitting at a red light and the crossing gates go down on top of your car. You have about 20 seconds before that train impacts your car. What do? Do you try to move the car? Do you get out of the car? That's right, I said leave your car. Leave it behind. Get your children out of the back seat. You need to run in the direction that the train is coming, because if you run away from the car, you risk the impact of the car and the train. The car will fly through the air. You risk it striking you. If you do stop at a crossing, every crossing has a white box or a white house. On that white house, there is a phone number and a milepost of the crossing. This activates RMCC, or Risk Management Communication Center. Risk Management then notifies the train dispatcher. The train dispatcher then can get any oncoming trains hopefully stopped before the train comes in contact with the vehicle. They can then protect the crossing. They can get the trains to hold at a location. Therefore, your car may be saved. About every 3 hours, a person or vehicle is hit by a train. It's also from the Operation Lifesavers website. Now imagine the emergency light goes off for the second time in the shift. It is a report of a vehicle stalled at a crossing. We notify the approaching train. The train stops and assists the family of 4. The engineer and conductor are able to shove the car out of the way. The result is the family is safe, the car is undamaged, versus the other pictures I have shown you. Now I'd also like to read an excerpt from an engineer's story. He states, he's worked on the Conrail locomotives for 14 years and has been driving them for 6 years now. He's been involved in 6 crossing collisions in his career. 4 people aren't alive anymore because of them. The first collision happened 2 weeks after I started working, and the last one almost killed me. I knew I was going to hit her when I looked her in the eyes. She was 31 years old and she was dead. People don't look normal when a train hits them. There was blood all over the place, and her 4-year-old baby was hanging out the back window. It was 17 degrees below zero. I grabbed the child, put him in the locomotive, and was able to keep the child safe for 20 minutes before responders arrived. That day has changed my life forever. I hope I persuaded you to take railroad safety seriously. The stories I have told you are not to scare you. These are my stories from train dispatching and the stories in the recent stories in the media. By giving you the facts and the knowledge, you now know why you should stay off the railroad tracks. Do not take pictures on the railroad tracks. And please, persuade your friends and family to not stop on the crossings. Thank you.